Hey y'all, it's Heel Heat time.
Hi everybody and welcome to Heel Heat. My name is George Coles and this is our Ring of Honor show for the week. Let's jump right into it, guys, and start off with the first match. Cedric Alexander versus Tommaso Ciampa. Full disclosure, this is from the tapings I was at live. So the next 4 episodes, kind of going in knowing what's going to happen. However, I'm still going to watch them because I like it and I'd like to see how it came across on TV. This, to me, out of all 4 episodes, I thought was the best match of the whole entire night. Not to say that there wasn't other good matches, but I thought this was the best of them. Cedric picks up the win when Ciampa gets DQ'd, uses the tag rope to choke him out. Does the whole thing with Nigel. Nigel gets the call reversed. Then he destroys Cedric afterwards because storyline-wise, he can't destroy any of the officials or any Ring of Honor employees. He can only destroy wrestlers. So hopefully this will lead to something more. I can't see them letting a character like Cedric Alexander just take a beat down like this and it not be anything. I'd love to see the two of them go at it again because, like I said, I thought this match was amazing. Came over really well. Especially good live. Really good on the show as well. Cedric Alexander has a certain, I'm going to say it, electricity that only the great ones have, pun intended. He reminds me, with the presence he has in the ring, of a young Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. He reminds me of Dusty Rhodes. There's a certain magnetism that only certain ones of the great ones really have. A guy that never really made it huge but had that was Jimmy "Boogie Woogie Man" Valiant. He had a very successful career, probably a little bit before his time, but he had that kind of charisma that just draws you in, and Cedric is the same way. He doesn't necessarily need to talk on the mic or do amazing moves. Just something about him draws you in and wants to make you watch him. I think the kid is going to be one of the big stars in wrestling over the next decade, to be honest with you. Speaking of that, 2 guys I think that are going to be huge stars get their Ring of Honor debut. Elijah Evans IV and Ethan Case, professionally known as Worst Case Scenario, going up against Artie Evans and Moose. We see the continuation of Artie Evans' streak. They pick up the win. Worst Case Scenario looked really good. For those of you that are not familiar with him, there's an organization that I like to watch that has their own app called PWX out of North Carolina. Check out the app. I believe it's Pro Wrestling Experience. But anyway, great promotion that some friends of mine had told me about, and I checked it out. Worst Case Scenario is one of the top tag teams from that promotion. Very talented team, very charismatic. I see big things for them as well as Moose. Moose is a guy that you can look at and see he has that certain thing that people like Vince McMahon look for. I thought this was good. I really enjoyed. I may have been the only one in the crowd that night that knew who Worst Case Scenario was. However, I really enjoyed seeing them up there. 2 guys I think that are great, phenomenal talents. Glad to see them getting their big break on a nationwide stage, or as national as Ring of Honor is. A little bit bigger than where they're coming from. Huge upside for both of them. Next up, we had Michael Elgin coming to the ring, kind of doing a quasi-anti-authority, why have you been gone kind of segment. I don't know, it just didn't work for me. I don't care. I mean, that's the problem. I have no problem with Michael Elgin as a talent, as a wrestler. I think he's a top-notch wrestler. I enjoy his character. I enjoy him. I just, this gimmick doesn't fit him. It fits a Kevin Steen because the Kevin Steen can pull it off and make it entertaining. Whereas Michael Elgin can't pull off pissed off without actually being pissed off. And that's not really that entertaining to any of us. Then we get the main event of the night, representing the Kingdom, Mike Bennett and Matt Taven versus the Briscoe brothers. We see a wild brawl leading to a fantastic tag team match. We see Bennett and Taven, the Briscoes, pick up the win. Afterwards, Bennett, Taven, and Adam Cole attack the Briscoes and leave them laying. Thought this was fantastic. I really enjoyed the angle they're going with the Kingdom and the Briscoe brothers and their feud that they're doing. I think it's going to lead to big things. I really enjoy it. This is probably one of my favorite feuds of the year, is the Kingdom and the Briscoe brothers. Lots of talent there. Love every one of them. Jay and Mark Briscoe are amazing as tag team. Jay, the world champion of Ring of Honor. Michael Bennett, I think, is highly underrated. Matt Taven as well. I think Matt Taven's an underrated talent. Adam Cole, what can you say about that guy? I mean, when you talk about future guys that are going to control the wrestling business and be major stars, he's one of the first ones that come to mind. And of course, you have the lovely Maria Kanellis, or Maria Bennett now, I guess you could say. You know, just a beautiful woman with a great group. I really enjoyed what they did with this. I really enjoyed this tag match, and I love the feud going forward. Now, coming off of that, we're going to jump right into our ratings for the week. If you've seen the show before, or even if you haven't, we have a 1 to 5 scale. 1 being the worst, 5 being the best. Giving the show a solid 5. I was just as entertained watching it on television as I was watching it live. And a lot of times that doesn't happen. I've been to TNA shows, WWE shows, where I watched them, came home and either watched what I DVR'd or watched it when it came out later. In the case of TNA, I went to some tapings for them. And I just didn't get the same enthusiasm. It felt stale and old. Whereas this, it came off just as good as the first time. It was very enjoyable for me. I hope everybody else got the same enjoyment I did. I hope maybe I'm not tinted by rose-colored glasses on this one. But I did enjoy the show. I thought it was a very solid show. Lots of great work, lots of great talent. Worst case scenario, sky's the limit for them. About time they got the stage to stand on. They're gonna knock it out of the park. They're gonna be big stars, I guarantee it. Cedric Alexander's on his way. I mean, it's the amount of talent in Ring of Honor right now is astounding, and they're putting on some of the best shows on television. But basically, that's all I have to say about that. My name is George Coles. This has been another episode of Heel Heat.